Tiana Bell pressed her thumb against preserve. The handheld vibrated once. The assisted shopping basket locked. The camera buffer locked. The merchandise movement log locked. On the loss prevention screen, one field remained empty. Observed merchandise action. 30 minutes earlier, Marissa Caldwell had stood in her Harlem kitchen beside a framed photograph. Her mother held a turquoise gift box in the picture. The scarf inside had taken months of saved tips. Marissa closed her brown leather tote and left for Fifth Avenue. She wore worn jeans, flat boots, and a gray cardigan. The Harbor Crest acquisition had already closed. The public announcement was still 2 days away. No assistant followed her into Waverly and Finch. The doorman opened the glass door after a short delay. Marissa crossed the marble floor and stopped at women's accessories. 2 turquoise scarves rested on a brass display arm. Tiana approached with a store handheld. "May I show you the Aegean silk?" Marissa nodded. Tiana scanned both tags into an assisted shopping basket. The scarves remained on the display. A white customer, near handbags, carried a sample purse to a mirror. No employee followed her. Graham Tolland watched from the mezzanine. He placed a clipboard beneath his arm and came down the stairs. He looked at Tiana first. "Restock the rear case. I'm helping a customer." Graham held out his hand. Tiana lowered the handheld. The basket remained open. Marissa asked to see both scarves. Graham read the price from the tag. $1,200 each. "I'll take a closer look. The outlet carries similar pieces." Marissa kept one hand on her tote strap. "I asked for these." Graham stepped between her and the display. He said high-value accessories required additional screening. Marissa looked at the 2 scarves. Neither had moved. "What did you observe?" Graham reached for the radio on his belt. He did not answer. Caleb Norris arrived from the front entrance. Graham pointed at Marissa's tote. "Bag check." Caleb looked at the scarf display. Both tags remained attached. He asked for an item description and observation code. Graham gave him neither. "She's refusing procedure." Marissa had not touched the scarves. Caleb kept his hands at his sides. "I don't have grounds to search her property." Graham unclipped the radio. "You have a management instruction. That is not an observation." Judith Lane stood near the elevator with a receipt envelope. She had watched the other customer carry the sample purse across the department. No one had asked that woman to open her handbag. Graham reached across the counter. He pulled Marissa's tote from her shoulder. The leather strap dragged across her cardigan. He turned the bag upside down over the glass. A wallet struck the counter. Then a paperback. Keys. A notebook. Lip balm. A Northbridge business card landed face down. No store merchandise appeared. Graham looked at the empty tote. He did not return it. He said Marissa had disrupted the department. Marissa placed each item back inside. She did not turn over the business card. She did not name her company. "Do not touch me again." Graham moved around the counter. He closed one hand around her upper arm. Caleb stepped forward. Tiana remained beside the rear case with the handheld against her apron. Graham pulled Marissa toward the center aisle. She did not pull back. She kept her steps even. Judith wrote the time on the receipt envelope. One customer near watches lifted a phone. Another turned toward the elevator. At the chandelier, Marissa stopped. "Remove your hand." Graham released her arm. He said the store could refuse service when a customer interfered with loss prevention procedure. Marissa looked toward the scarf counter. The 2 turquoise scarves still hung from the same brass arm. Graham raised his open hand. Caleb moved. The palm struck Marissa's cheek before he reached them. Her head turned. Her feet stayed in place. Graham pointed toward the entrance. Marissa turned her face back. She did not raise her voice. She looked at Tiana. Tiana opened the customer safety menu. Graham controlled her schedule. He signed her monthly review. The handheld displayed a confirmation box. "Preserve session and send regional alert." Tiana pressed it. The local incident screen stopped accepting edits. Graham had already ordered a search, emptied the bag, and used force. One field was still blank. "Did you notice which one?" "Name the item." Caleb Norris stood between Graham Tolland and Marissa Caldwell. Graham remained beside the center aisle. He pointed toward women's accessories. "The silk pieces." Caleb looked across the department. Both turquoise scarves remained at the sales station. Which one did she conceal? Graham did not identify one. Tiana Bell's regional alert ticket had already left the flagship. A reference number appeared on the service desk printer. Local management could not cancel it. Marissa sat in the fitting lounge with a cold pack against her cheek. She did not call Ross Madden. She did not show a corporate title. She asked Caleb to record where Graham had been standing when he ordered the search. Graham opened a security incident worksheet. He selected Customer, Refused Screening. Caleb looked at the entry. No screening was authorized. Graham added Customer became disruptive. He described the physical contact as redirection toward the exit. Tiana stood at the service desk. She requested an employee statement sheet. Graham told her the regional team would contact her later. Tiana took the sheet anyway. She wrote that Marissa had requested 2 scarves. She wrote that no product had left the sales area. She wrote that Caleb had declined the search request. She wrote that Graham had emptied Marissa's property himself. The regional case dashboard opened 15 minutes later. Nolan Keats, director of loss prevention, joined through a secure review line. He asked for the sales consultation record. It showed 2 items assigned to Marissa's customer session. The session began before Graham approached. It remained active when he ordered Tiana away. Marissa had been shopping. She had not been standing without service. Nolan requested the RFID zone map. Both scarf identifiers remained inside the authorized display boundary. No tag crossed into the center aisle. No inventory exception appeared. The exit sensor ledger showed no alarm. Marissa had never reached the front doors before Graham took her property. Nolan opened the ceiling camera clip. The first frame showed Tiana presenting the scarves. The next showed Graham stepping between Tiana and Marissa. The search order appeared before Marissa touched either item. The clip also showed Caleb asking for a factual basis. Graham gave none. Judith Lane completed a witness card near the elevator. She described a different customer carrying a sample handbag to a mirror. No employee stopped that customer. Judith listed the time from the printed store clock above the fragrance department. She did not assign a motive. She described what each employee did. The safety call transcript preserved Graham's own words. He referred to Marissa's clothing. He referred to the scarf price. He referred to his years of experience. He did not describe concealment. Nolan placed the evidence in a chronology printout. The sequence ran down 1 page. Customer service began. Manager intervention followed. Search ordered. Security declined. Property emptied. No merchandise found. Removal attempted. Physical contact recorded. The field describing observed theft appeared last. Graham had entered it 7 minutes after the search began. Dana Pritchard arrived with a transition access pass clipped inside her jacket. She represented the incoming compliance team for Harborcrest Retail Group. Dana reviewed the chronology before speaking with Marissa. She read Tiana's statement. She watched the ceiling camera clip. She compared the 2 customer interactions. Then, she looked toward the fitting lounge. Miss Caldwell. Graham turned. Dana confirmed Marissa was the incoming chair of Harborcrest after the acquisition announcement scheduled for Monday. The title did not alter the RFID data. It did not alter the video. It did not create the missing merchandise. Marissa signed a recusal notice. She would not participate in Graham's employment review. She asked that the evidence move outside the flagship. Ross kept the acquisition announcement on its original schedule. No press statement came from the sales floor. Nolan suspended Graham's customer contact access. He also removed his authority to open or close loss prevention cases. The complaint search returned 3 summary cards from the same flagship. Each described a shopper as disruptive. Each lacked a merchandise description at the time security was called. One card showed an observation added the following morning. Another showed the manager and observer as the same person. The third had no second review. The system had accepted all 3. Nolan opened the software configuration. A manager could call security first and fill in the observed conduct later. The search had already happened, so why did the system still allow Graham to create its reason afterward? A red case folder rested at the center of the compliance table. 3 routing slips covered the first page. Customer relations, workplace conduct, claims review. Each department had added a date. None had added an owner. 6 business days had passed since Graham Tolland ordered the search. His customer access was suspended. Marissa Caldwell's customer history still described the event as a screening dispute. The word unsupported did not appear. Dana Pritchard turned the folder toward the transition team. 1 name, 1 deadline. Nolan Keats became the case owner. No department could forward the file without naming the next person, the reason for transfer, and a response date. Nolan started with the store sequence. Tiana Bell had opened a sales consultation before Graham approached. No item left the sales boundary. No alarm activated. Caleb Norris had requested a specific merchandise action. Graham had provided none. He ordered the search anyway. He emptied Marissa's property. He continued after finding no store item. He then directed her toward the entrance and struck her during the removal. The decision memo used 1 sentence. Manager initiated search and removal without observed conduct or independent approval. Graham received an access disable notice before the disciplinary meeting. It removed his authority to contact customers, direct security staff, or open loss prevention cases. The reviewer compared his statement with the preserved sequence. Graham described Marissa's clothing. He described the product price. He described her refusal to leave. He still did not identify concealment. Waverly and Finch ended his employment after the final finding. The separation record listed unsupported customer search, unauthorized physical removal, inaccurate incident documentation, and failure to stop after no merchandise was found. His personnel status changed to ineligible for rehire in any customer contact, security, or loss prevention role within Harborcrest Retail Group. The physical contact evidence was transferred to the company insurer and the appropriate outside authority. A referral number appeared in the compliance file. The company did not predict the final decision. Marissa's customer record changed next. Disruptive, refused screening disappeared. Customer in active sales consultation replaced it. A second line stated that no merchandise action had been observed. A third stated that the manager initiated the search without security approval. The correction carried a permanent audit marker. Local managers could not remove it. Marissa received a signed correction letter. It stated that she had not concealed merchandise, refused a valid screening request, or caused the intervention recorded by the flagship. The original entry remained preserved beneath the correction. It could not be used in a future customer risk review. An outside claims examiner received Marissa's medical invoice, transportation charge, damaged strap estimate, and documentation fee. Marissa did not approve the payment. She did not select the examiner. The verified amount was paid through the standard claims channel. 3 older cases were reopened. The flagship could provide schedules and staff statements. It could not close the files. One record said a customer had left before review. A parking receipt showed she remained inside the building. Another called a customer uncooperative. The security assignment sheet showed no guard had been dispatched. The third contained no merchandise description. Independent reviewers removed the unsupported labels. Each customer received a written correction. Verified transportation, replacement property, and appointment losses entered separate claims review. Tiana received a protection notice. Her shifts and performance rating moved outside Graham's former reporting line. Any reduction in hours required regional approval. She received no new title. She returned to the accessories department under the same name tag. Her preservation action remained in the review file under her employee number. Caleb's contract file recorded that he had acted within scope by refusing the search. The security vendor added one sentence to its assignment manual. Manager direction does not replace observed conduct. Northbridge completed the acquisition on schedule. Marissa remained recused from every personnel decision connected to the incident. The board approved the observed conduct requirement. Before a bag check or customer hold, the system required 6 entries. The item, the action, the location, the time, the direct observer, the second reviewer. A security request could not be transmitted while any entry remained empty. The first observer could not act as the second reviewer. No field could be completed after the request time. An active sales consultation blocked a loitering label. A floor manager could request review. A floor manager could not create the concern and approve the intervention. Regional compliance also received every complaint involving an unsupported bag check or manager-directed personal search. The local store could attach evidence. It could not issue the final finding. Several weeks later, Marissa returned during normal store hours. No executive team met her. No announcement played over the speakers. Tiana brought 2 Aegean silk scarves from the locked drawer. Marissa examined the weave beneath the counter lamp. She chose both. One was for her niece's graduation. The other went home to the brownstone. Marissa paid the listed price. The transaction receipt showed normal retail sale. No courtesy code appeared. No executive discount appeared. Tiana folded the silk into white tissue and closed the package. A month later, another black customer stood at the same department in an old raincoat. She asked to see an expensive evening bag. A supervisor watched from the upper level. Tiana opened a new sales consultation. The customer carried the sample to a mirror. Nothing left the department. The supervisor opened the updated intervention page. The first box requested the merchandise action. He entered nothing. The security button remained gray. Tiana continued describing the leather and the warranty. If protecting your schedule meant helping an unsupported order move forward, would you stay quiet or place your name in its path? The search field stayed blank because nothing had been observed. This story is fictional.